Welcome to Journey On. Today we have a special guest who is the founder of Cold Confidence, whose home base is the Pacific Northwest, where she guides others in building resilience and inner strength through 33-degree cold water exposure. She's the co founder of Puget Sound Plungers, where she gathers and supports others in the wild waters of Puget Sound, Washington, because it's much easier to do it together. She's involved with TAPS, a nonprofit organization that helps provide support and care for families and friends of fallen heroes. She's building a community to inspire connection and creativity through writing called Journal Your Journey. She was the co-leader in Gaia Goddess Unleashed retreat, and she's empowered 109 women to cold plunge nude in the Salish Sea. So please help me in welcoming the woman whose confidence flowed from cold water exposure, and now she pours onto others because you can. Renata Rain. But do you
No,
check
there's
when
ice in
you?
the water. It's my
Yeah.
machine makes ice, so there's always ice in the water. So it's not 32 because it's not solid, but it's also not melting. It's always making ice. So my
Oh,
temperature is about 33 all the time. Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. And then when you guys go do is it a sea that you guys go into for Puget
Yes.
Sound,
Yes.
or is it
Yeah.
like a ocean? Oh, okay.
There's less
Do
salt
you
in the
guys?
ocean. Yeah, less salt in the
Yeah.
ocean. We're inland from the ocean, so
Yeah.
less salt and less waves.
Oh, that's nice. Do you guys
Yeah.
check the temperature before or
No,
no?
people I did in the beginning because everything was new, but it really doesn't matter the temperature or the tides for that matter were going. So
Yeah.
people used to ask me all the time, and now I'm able to just look on Google. What's the temperature today?
Yeah.
Most of the thermometers you can buy that are really cute, like a duck or a whale or a
Oh, yeah.
shark, they're not accurate. The only really
Oh.
accurate thermometers are aquarium thermometers, which are glass, and we broke more than we
Mm,
care to admit. So it's cold generally.
yeah.
The tides and water moving is colder, so it makes the water colder, and you can't even measure that.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
yeah, so moving water is colder if that makes any sense.
Wow. That's interesting. You would
So if
think
you go in
like the
a
movement
river and
would
the
be
water is
warmer.
35 degrees in a river, it's actually colder than that, but you can't measure that. But
Wow.
running water is colder, yes.
That's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
on days when the
Wow.
tide is really strong and we can feel it, it's like it's extra
Yeah.
cold. And there's not we don't we're like make up our own language for that because we're going on our fourth year of saying, "Oh, it's cold today." So cold. Yeah, it's cold.
Oh, wow. Is there ever any time when you, like, get in the water and you just wanna get out immediately, or are you just kinda more accustomed because 'cause you've been doing it for so long?
A lot of people have that happen. In
Yeah.
fact, the reason I some people say, "Why do you have to guide people?" Like that seems silly. But a lot of people will stand when I started, I went with one person. I was by myself. And you stand at the side of the sea and look out, it's large. I mean, there's animals in there, and the sea is big, and you feel suddenly very small. And as soon as your toe hits the water, you're like, no, this is a bad idea. It's cold. One, I did not like the cold. Um, I now love the cold, but not for the cold, just for what it's done for
Yeah.
me. But I was actually planning to move to Arizona at the time because I was out of here. I was done with this. The cold and the rain and the wet and the depression I had every single year
Yeah.
stays pretty gray here. I've now gone to places that are much colder than here that don't have the grayness, and I can see where having the sunshine in the cold is much better than just we just have gray all the time in the winter.
Yeah.
But so when you start to walk, especially in the sea, in my tank, you just get in and sit down. It's kind of immediate. But in the ocean or the sea, you're walking, and it depends on how high the tide is. You want to walk to at least your waist before you drop all the way in to get all the way down.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter that you know why you're there. You drove there, right? You have a swimming suit on, like you know why you're there, but your reptilian brain comes online and starts to say, no, change my mind.
Yeah.
Let's do this another day. I don't want to do this. Like all of these thoughts come up. And it's so strong in some people they feel like they're going to die. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what fight or flight is, right? Everyone has different varying degrees and different situations can cause different degrees. So there's a panic. I know when someone comes down the beach, I've now taken well over 1,000 people. I can tell when someone walks down the beach if it's their first time just by the look on their
Mm,
face.
yeah.
Everyone shows up afraid. They might not say they're afraid. They might say, I'm anxious or I'm nervous or I'm apprehensive. It's only a handful of people that come down like, I'm so excited. I love the cold. That's happened, but it's only happened a few times. So most people they're doing a hard thing and they know it. I mean, they're brave just to show up, right? So they show up at
Yeah.
the beach, then they take off their clothes. Then they do a hard thing with strangers. So it's a lot. I mean, I recognize there's a lot going on in that moment. But getting them all the way in is the first hurdle. Once they're all the way in, there's a little bit of mind over matter time where I give them an intention if they don't have one before all of the endorphins kick in. So you get very high doses of dopamine and norepinephrine. And in community, you also get oxytocin. So it
Mm,
suddenly becomes easier, if not easy.
yeah.
And it's okay. Because if no one's there to help, most people don't go all the way in.
Yeah.
Like you said, do you change your mind? Well, most people would change their mind. Actually, their mind
Yeah.
would be changed for them by their autonomic nervous system that's trying to save their life. Because when you go to do this hard thing, and people have an aversion to cold water. I mean, if you're doing dishes and the water gets cool because you walked away, what do? You pull your hand out and you add more hot water. We just don't like it. And we weren't designed this way. We're designed to be outdoors where we have like a winter outfit and a summer outfit, not
Yeah.
be not be constantly keeping our lives so temperature controlled. So if you
Yeah.
can get people past the hard part and let these things naturally occur in their body, then they're so grateful and they feel so amazing. I just need to get them to that point. Like if you can give me 30 seconds, I can give you 2 minutes because
Yeah.
after 30 seconds before 2 minutes is bliss. But most people don't make it there. They try
Yeah.
it alone or that part of us is very strong. I joke that your body doesn't know, did I fall off my Alaskan cruise? Like get me out of this water because I don't know what's going to happen. And so there's high fear. There's high
Yeah.
fear. Yeah.
And I would even think that at least like if I put myself in that position and like, because I've done cold water plunges like personally, and I'll get into that in a second, but I'm like thinking if I walked, like drove to like a sea or like a beach and like I'm walking down, it's like there's no quick way of getting out of there to get like warm and cozy. Like, and so it's like that I feel like would be a little bit more of like a hesitation as well for some. It's because there's no like fleeing quickly to get that comfort back. It's like, oh no, you're gonna have to now go back to your car, maybe get a
Right.
towel. So it's like
Right.
there's a
So
lot more steps to get warmer than just being in that uncomfortable space.
right. We have helped people with what to bring, what to wear. Yes, our cars aren't very far away, but people want to get out and get
Yeah.
out of there quickly. Definitely, definitely. And
Yeah.
if you're going in nature, the most important thing is knowing where your heat source is. It's
Yeah.
literally the most important thing. The time in the water is not the risk of hypothermia. Or at 50 degrees, hypothermia, you would have to be in the water for an hour. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of time. Um, it's the outside, getting out of the water wet and being in nature's elements where the wind is blowing and the
Mm,
temperature often here is cold, it's colder in the air. When it's 20 degrees out, the water's still 50. The air is much more dangerous. Being out of the
yeah.
water is where the danger lies. And that's where I do a lot of my education. Like you can't stand around in your swimming suit. You can't, it's your fingers and don't work. Your ears are funny color. We have to get
Yeah.
you dressed quickly and out of here, get to your car. But you people want to do hikes to alpine lakes and cold plunge. And the most important thing is where is heat? Where can I get a heat source?
Yeah.
Because if you're not near your car because you just hiked in, and you're
Ay, ay,
fumbling
ay.
around, your fingers don't work, this is a problem. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
problem. So safety has to come first.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Wow. Going back to, like, even you mentioning, seeing other people, that it brings in, like, those endorphins, or is it serotonin you said? Like, being around the other people?
Oxytocin. So
Oxytocin.
when you
So
do it in
even that,
community,
yeah, I feel like even that would even give people, I would think, even like myself, that reassurance that, like, okay, well, if all these other people are doing it, like, I'm safe. Because if they weren't safe, kind of
right.
tricking that fight or flight response is, if they're safe, then I should be safe. And it's like it would simmer back that nervous system kind of back
So
down to
we're
more.
stronger
Yeah.
together. We're stronger together for sure. And it's
Yeah.
easier together when you're lined up. We have on Sunday morning 40 to 70 people on a regular plunge. Special
Wow.
events get even larger. So people line up. We don't make them hold hands or anything, but everyone waits for everyone to get to the beach on the down to the shore. We walk in together more or less. And I tell everyone we're stronger together and this is easier together. And there is a little bit of this social, like I'm not going to turn around and go out. I'm going to be the only person that's going the wrong direction. There's a little bit of that, like that. It's not peer pressure because no one's going to tell you you have to, and that would not be allowed. Um,
Yeah.
and if someone needs help, I get very close to them because I'm trained with breath work. But everyone encourages everyone. It's like there's an unwritten rule that you have to be so welcoming and helpful because, as I said before, you have a look on your face if you're new and you're doing a hard thing. I mean, just taking off the swimsuit is hard or taking off their, sweats is a hard thing for some people. So that community of people that are doing the hard thing with you become so important. And people are watching out for you. And the new people, when they leave, everyone claps and screams. And there's that embarrassed smile that you get, like, don't do that for me, but thank you for doing that for me.
Yeah.
The town that we plunge in is a small town, and they are not that many people in the town plunge. So they're all like, "Oh, you're those crazy people. Like, do you guys know how cold it is?" They just get a kick out of the fact that we do that. But there is an accountability, right? And there's also,
Mhm.
I tell them all the time, there's dozens of benefits to cold plunging, dozens. But there's
Yeah.
dozens of benefits to working out, and there's dozens of benefits to eating certain ways. And people don't do all those things. They're not showing
Yeah.
up every Sunday morning to do this. They have to go home and they have to get the sand out of their car and their clothes and they have to wash their laundry and all the things. They're not doing all those things for the health benefits. They're coming for
Yeah.
the community and they're
Yeah.
coming to not feel alone and for that dopamine. The dopamine hit is 250 times your base level. The norepinephrine is 520 times your base level. And then because you're doing it in a community, you're also getting oxytocin. So you're literally
Wow.
leaving like on a high. You're like juiced up, ready for your day. You have good, clean energy that's going to last 5 or 6 hours. Your mood is boosted so high that nothing could bring you down. And
Yeah.
so that's what they're coming for. That's what they're coming for.
Yeah.
My very first cold plunge, I did all wrong. I did 1 minute. I was counting down. Like, I'm just going to stay 1 minute, hyperventilating and just literally doing all the things wrong. And I have been suffering from chronic back pain for more than 15 years, but also my depression from when my husband died. I was 24 years old. And a few years after that, my first husband died. So they were kind of back to back.
Mm.
And granted, one of them wasn't my husband at the time, but that doesn't matter when you go through
Yeah.
something like that. He was the father of my child, and I had just gone through it, so I was like extra, like
Wow.
how, and they both drowned, so that's significant when you imagine I'm going into the sea.
Oh my gosh.
So those winters, I mean, time went by. I got very sick, which makes perfect sense to me now, and I had a lot of anger, and I did not process it very well. I wasn't healthy physically, I wasn't healthy emotionally, spiritually, none of it. It took 20 years before I started to actually live again. And I don't recommend that to anyone. It's not the way to do it. But even after I started living a better life, a healthy lifestyle, and having joy, having happiness in my life, from about October to February, I was depressed. Now, I had good reasons. There was several different anniversaries in that time. All the holidays are in that time. The children that there were so many reasons. I could tell you all the reasons, but it was this long period. Even in my happiness, even in my new good life, I went down. Now, during that period, I would usually have several times I literally went down, like into my room and didn't come out. It might be 2 days, it might be 5 days. My friends and family knew that was just how I was. And part of it
Mm,
was just my story that I was still telling, because now it's 20 years, now it's 25 years,
yeah.
but it was still very real. And the first day I cold plunged, as I was walking back to my car, again, all wrong. I had my clothes on still, I had a towel on me, and I'm like shuffling back to my car. I had this very strange, odd moment of something seemed off. And I stopped and I realized I don't have any back pain.
Wow. And that was
So I
just the
was like,
first time?
yeah, my very first plunge. So I'm the person that was like, you tell me to do something, I'll try it. Like, I'll try everything. I'm not one that will say, I'll try everything. And then if you say, have you tried cold plunging? No, I'm not doing that, because I know I've seen pictures of people in ice baths that I was horrified by in the past, right? I don't think I would have started there, but So I came home and started researching, and sure enough, it's everywhere. Helps with chronic pain. I was pissed. No one ever told me. No health
Yeah.
professional ever told me, and no one else ever told me. So I started. But the next thing that happened was, as I was doing this research, and I started shouting about it, on social, like, who knew this, and why didn't you tell me, and who wants to go with me? I realized I'm freaking happy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt so good. That winter is the first winter I didn't go down near the pressure,
Wow.
and I haven't had it. Hasn't come back. And
Wow.
so although the deaths in my life had been, it was 28 years. I had some stuckness, I had some dysfunction in my life, but it shook it out of me. And I still have a practice, and my mood is not boosted as high each time, but there's many days. I mean, I founded this group. It's now 5,200 people in not even 4 years. Yeah. And
Wow.
I show up every Sunday unless I'm out of town. There's been 2 times I missed because I didn't want to go. Every other week I'm there. And I promise you, I don't want to go every week.
Yeah.
I love everyone there, but there's days, you want to sleep in on a Sunday. That has not happened. I have not slept in on a Sunday since September of 2021. Um, but I've never regretted going. I never regretted a plunge. And I always come
Yeah.
back in a great mood. Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things that cold plunging does, is it
Yeah.
boosts your mood. And it's those endorphins. And in
Yeah.
such high doses that you just feel amazing. Yeah. You just feel amazing.
So was that just something you just tried at the sea, or where did you try it for your first time?
I tried it to see. Well, actually, I filled my bathtub. It's a doctor that I followed. I was working on my mitochondrial health when everyone got sick at COVID. I was like, why is everyone getting
Mm,
sick? And I just thought everyone's immune system is just on the bench, drinking beer and eating pizza. I don't know. Why aren't we
yeah.
healthier? And I started looking into mitochondrial health, and I actually was doing it for my mitochondrial health. I filled up my bathtub, and I just got all the ice in my freezer, which, by the way, as soon as you add it to the bath water, it melts. I mean, a
Yeah.
home bath needs probably 80 to 100 pounds of ice to get a home
Wow.
bath. Yeah. No, you could probably do 50 to 80. But anyway, I was like, well, that's not good. And tap cold here is about 55. So that actually is
Yeah.
cold enough, but it's not very appealing, right? This isn't a
Yeah.
bath that I love to take hot baths. And then I'm looking
Yeah.
at this water, and then I put my foot in, I pulled it back out, and I pulled the drain. And the doctor said, you live in the Pacific Northwest. You can go in the Puget Sound. And I was like, why would I? The beach where I go, I'd only been there once, and it was paddleboarding. And the whole time, I usually go on a lake. I went here paddleboarding once, and the whole time I was like, don't fall in, don't fall in. It's so cold. Oh my God,
My
there's jellyfish. It was like this terrible experience. It was a terrible experience. So I knew it was cold, and there's jellyfish and other things. And so I had to just get over that. So when she suggested I go, that's when I was like, well, I can. I wanted to be healthier. I'm going to do this thing. I can do hard things. But I had no idea that it was going to, I just thought I would have depression my whole life. I
Yeah.
am a depressed person. That was kind of my, you
Your
know,
story.
right. It could be on my gravestone someday. Here lies Renata. She gets
Yeah.
depressed.
Yeah, and
And
it's
there's
hard
nothing
when we
wrong
get
with getting
stuck in that.
depressed, but it was like a
Yeah.
pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we can easily get stuck in that, and then it's like we'll find things to reaffirm, "Oh, see, this is why I feel this way," and then it's like it
Absolutely.
just keeps going and going, and we'll just easily jump on that merry-go-round, and
Yes.
it's just hard to just get off and be like, "I don't have to keep going back on that," and,
Exactly.
um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
because some
the
years are
first
worse
time that
than
you got
others.
out. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'll just say some years are worse than others and better than others, of course. But it's
Yeah.
definitely was, oh yeah, and here's that time, the reason I'm gonna be sad now. Of
Yeah.
course I'm sad, right?
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah. Or even like music. I've talked with someone like about music and how like it changes our mood and stuff. And I said, "Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I could listen to a song and not be thinking about my brother that died. And then I'm like sitting there sad and depressed over it because I heard a song. And then it's like, oh well, yeah, if I'm gonna constantly be putting things in my mind that is gonna
Mhm.
make me feel sad, then what is my mind supposed to do? It's not gonna feel happy.
No,
It's gonna be
exactly.
like, oh, we're supposed to be sad right now.
Right.
Um, but so when you first got out the first time out of the sea, were you like, "I'm gonna do this again," or were you like, "This
When
is
I was
crazy,
walking
what
to
did
my
I
car, I didn't know. But by the time I got home, I knew. I was back the next day and
do?"
I thought 1 minute, okay, I'm gonna add 30 seconds a week. I thought I was gonna go once a week in my, my planning
Yeah,
mind was like, okay, I'm gonna go every Sunday. I'm gonna add 30 seconds a week. And then by Christmas, maybe I'll be up to 20 minutes. Okay, best
wow.
don't make silly plans like that. I didn't know anything. So my
Yeah,
daughter said, well, mom, you could probably have lasted more than 1 minute. And I was like, what? Why? She's like, well, how do you know? You didn't even try. So she went with me, and I think we lasted 3 minutes. I was like, wow. Because really, you need 2 minutes for the health benefits. I didn't know
okay.
that. I didn't know anything. Someone asked me, oh, you're doing like Wim Hof stuff? And I was like, I don't know. I thought that was a thing, not a name. I didn't even, I mean, literally, I didn't know anything. So I
Yeah,
was just researching. But I realized that a lot of people were interested. So now it's so commonplace.
yeah,
Just 4 years ago, it wasn't.
yeah,
Um, and we have a lot of beaches here. And now, I mean, you can go to the beaches any day of the week and see people cold plunging.
yeah,
And when I started, that was not the case. People
yeah.
thought, there were people that thought I was trying to hurt myself, like
Oh my.
suicide by drowning, walking out. Like,
Yeah.
are you okay, ma'am? We have a mental hospital close by. Literally, like, are you okay?
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
but it was not commonplace. I mean, it was coming. I mean, if not me, it would have been someone else. I had
Yeah,
met people that were already doing it that said, I've been trying to get people to come. How'd you get them to come? And I think it was just kind of a right place, right time. And I was so passionate because it changed me so much in two ways. Pain points, both pain points, right? Physical pain and emotional pain. And anyone that knew me knew it was working because it was clearly working. Anyone that didn't know me believed me because I was so adamant. And I started just inviting people, if you want to go, I'll go with you. Because I really wanted people to go with also.
yeah,
And within a month, people I didn't know were asking me. So I said, I'll put it on the calendar once a week. I was started going every day. I put a tank in my yard, and I quickly became, the expert, which I had no training at the time. I didn't know there was such a thing as training. And so when I put it on the calendar, I had to put it on the calendar because one day someone showed up and I didn't know they were coming. And back then I still knew who was coming, when they were coming, what their name
yeah,
was. They asked me a lot of questions. He said, no, I just heard about it. And I was like, oh, I actually have to be here, even if I don't know anyone's coming. So it took off like crazy. It just really, really took off like crazy. It was right after COVID stuff, or even actually, the end of it. And it's
mhm,
outdoors. You can have 6 feet. And people just needed that, they needed community. We now
Yeah.
have so much friendships, people that didn't know each
Oh.
other before now. There's an engagement, people that met there.
Oh, that's
Um,
so cool.
yeah, yeah. Roommate situations and people that have made, like I said, you're bonded pretty fast when you
Yeah.
do a hard thing together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah,
as far
that's
as
amazing.
grief, like PTSD,
Mhm.
grief, addicts, it's very powerful for those categories, um,
Yeah.
because it forces you to be in the moment
Mhm.
right now, forces
Yeah.
you to, you also have this sense of accomplishment, like, I just did that thing, and for what grieving people it does is says, "I'm still here." Like, this
Yeah.
connects my head and my heart, and
Yeah.
we get out of that. We just get
Yeah.
stuck in pain. You can't be anywhere but present when you're in the cold. You can't think of your list. You can't be sorry for yourself. You just have to be present. And so you build resilience, and that's one of the bigger things that happened to me was the resilience building. Before I started cold plunging, I was afraid of everything. I was literally afraid
Mm.
of everything. And I'm not afraid of much anymore. And I think on a cellular level, you get in the you face fight or flight every single day.
Mhm.
Body starts to believe you when you're like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. So then something happens outside of the cold that I normally would have melted down, cried, ran away, whatever I would do, my different defense mechanisms. And now I just face the thing because on a cellular level, my body's like, oh, you can do this. I don't have to stop and think about it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like it's already done such a difficult thing already that it's like, "Oh, this is
exactly.
easy," compared to
I don't have to
plunging.
even my daughters are like, "Mom, you know, you would normally have already lost it." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah. It's the
Yeah.
new me." My confidence, that's the name of the business, is 1 year after, um, starting the Puget Sound Plungers, I well, partway through, I went to Arizona and I got in this machine that makes ice, and it's pretty fantastic. I found that all the benefits are heightened under 40 degrees, and the sound doesn't ever get under 40 degrees. And I wanted the machine, but the machines are very expensive. So I found someone that would give me a loan, but I'd have to pay it back, right? So I said, I'll just make
Yeah.
a business out of it, you know? And Don was talking to a reporter that came, and he said, what have you noticed different about her? I was all mic'd up and had cameras on me and, did this interview. And Don said, well, she's so much more confident. And I was really fast to go, I am not. And he was like, what? Look what you just did. I used to not even, if anyone said, do you want to talk, you don't even talk to me, I would like hide behind him. So
Mm.
it's like a moment of realization, like, oh yeah. When I started, every time I went to the beach, I was almost in lump in my throat and so nervous that I had to talk to the new people because I have to be able to give them our safety
Wow.
talk, an explanation, as well as walk them through what's going to happen, all in a very short time because it's cold. And then at the end of my talk, I say, are there any questions? And the answer needs to be no, because it's cold. Everyone on the beach is ready to go in. We can't go in until I say we can, but everyone's waiting for me to
Yeah.
finish talking to the new people. And then we're taking off our sweats and getting in the water. So it's a pretty specific little thing I have worked out. And I would just get nervous about it and like
Yeah.
not want to do it. But my biggest joy to this day is still the new people, um, because they find so much hope, right?
Yeah. And they
Um,
all come it seems like they all can come with, like, their own set of baggage, and, like,
oh yeah,
it's like it just melts away into the water and,
it
like,
does.
just is
It does,
gone
and the water can
versus
hold it, right? So you can
yeah,
leave it in the water. Not saying you're
yeah,
leaving it there forever. I mean, it's not a miracle, but it is like a magic. It's a medicine. I
yeah.
mean, and
It's
really,
such
our body's the
healing.
pharmacy. We just
Mhm.
don't know how to access it. We've gotten away from nature. We've gotten away from using what we've already got, how to
Yeah,
access these things. So this is just a way to access our own body's medicine, you know.
yeah. Yeah, it's so crucial. Um, in order to access those. And yeah, when I initially like met you through Taps on the Dare to Lead group, I was like, oh, I definitely want to know more about like what you do, So I started following like your social media because initially in the beginning of my grief, it was like, so my brother passed in 2020. And then it wasn't until like 2021 we moved all this stuff. And then it was like I started getting wind of like cold plunges. And I was like, I want to do anything and everything because I'm drowning in this grief. I'm like,
Mhm.
so I was doing everything. And so I did cold plunge. I started doing showers and then I was like, it just wasn't enough. Like
No,
it was that shock, but it wasn't like that real deep, I feel like to your core
because you're not
cold
immersed.
plunge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like, oh, like half my body's in, half out kind of thing. And so we were in an apartment and the pool was like right below us and I was like, I'm going. And so I would rain or shine, didn't matter. I'd be there at like 5:30 a.m. It didn't matter
Nice.
if people were going to work and it was the most impactful part of my healing that I was like, whoa, which I didn't do it for like my intention wasn't like I'm going to do this to better like my grief. It was like, oh, I'm depressed and like this could help
Right.
like my nervous system, like, kind of like trying to trick my brain, especially like you
Yeah,
said, like the fight
absolutely.
or flight. And so it's like more of that, but like it provided so much more healing in my grief. And I feel like you said, like that resilience and my confidence was more, and like it boosted so many other things in my life that I was like, whoa, this is something. I don't know what it is
Yeah,
because I was very new to it. I'm like, but it definitely is something. And I mean, even talking with you right now, like it's inspiring me to like get back into that again. I've wanted to, but I've strayed so far from it. And now I'm like, oh man, I need to get back into that. It's such an amazing feeling. And
yeah.
like you feel like you're on top of the world because 5:30
Yes.
a.m. I'm coming out of the water and
I can do
people are
anything.
yeah, I'm like, I could take on the world. It was like nothing was hard at that point because it's like,
Right.
oh, I just sat in there for, a minute or 2 or whatnot, and it would be freezing. Like, it was winter, like, Texas winter, December, January, beginning of 2021, and it's like, the pool isn't even opened because it's so cold,
Right, right,
and
right.
I'm just moseying my way in there.
People in Arizona and Florida will contact me and I'm gonna use my pool. And I'm like, well, that's cool until you can't anymore because it's gonna be too warm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably
yeah,
the same in
exactly.
Texas. Yeah. Are you still at the same place?
No, now we have a house, so, like, that's what really kind of put a slow, like, I would do the cold showers, but it's still like, it perks me up a
It's
little
not the
bit, but it's
same.
not the same as a plunge, and so I'm like, I'm saving for one of those, like, in-home plunging things
Yeah.
that I can get, but not ones where you have to put the ice in where it'll actually cool to
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
degree you set. Because 'cause I'm like, my fridge is not gonna be able to make that much ice
Yeah.
to cool this down.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah.
I'll send you some options. I'll send you
Yeah,
some
oh,
options.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great. Um, so what is it with the temperature? What is your like ideal if somebody obviously like the ocean or the sea or if someone's local like that, you don't really have
So
control
for
over that. But if
science
someone was to have
purposes,
controlled temperature,
33 to
what's like
55 is considered anywhere in there is considered cold exposure. However, in the summer, when we do have 60 degrees and we have people come, that's cold to
mm,
them, right? And any amount of cold is a good amount of cold. That being said, if I have in a perfect world, I put everyone in 33 degrees. When
yeah.
people say start slow or start higher, I don't think that's necessary um, because everyone can do this. And really, you're going to get the most powerful punch at 33 degrees or sub
Yeah.
40. If you have access to cold water, that's where I think you should go. Now, if you don't, and if your tap is running 55, absolutely go in your tap water. Motivating yourself in your own bathroom is challenging. So I have people that say, "This is what I have." I will walk through with them on the phone. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I've walked with people in different countries and lots of different states because that's where you just need someone to look in your eyes and walk you through. Mostly because the bathroom's not that, it's hard. It's just hard to get yourself into the bathtub at home.
yeah.
Most of my clients come here because they're like, I just can't do it anywhere else. because I just need
Yeah.
someone with me, because some people it's too hard to do by themselves. But there's
Mm.
options of freezing water bottles because you can refreeze them. There's a
Mm.
company that makes really big, like the size of a shoebox, and they're silicone with a metal bottom, so you can pop them out. But you have to let that sit for a long time because
Yeah.
never, as soon as you put the ice in, that water's not cold. It has to get cold, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Rubbermaid makes a 100-gallon stock tank. That's what I started in. That's my go-to. That's what I take when I have to be mobile and go to. I do events. I do work like markets and stuff. That's what I
Mm.
take. But for the 100-gallon, that's like 200 to 250 pounds of ice. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of ice. Now, delivery services will deliver ice, like the grocery places. They don't like it. I can tell
Yeah.
you that. They kind of have a look on their face as they're bringing in all those bags of ice.
Yeah.
But having a bring your own ice party in your backyard, if you get one of those Rubbermaid tanks, invite some friends, everyone brings ice. But there's still dangers.
Yeah.
So um, currently, you don't have to be certified to help people with ice baths, but it's coming because there are
Yeah.
dangers, right? There's still dangers. And no one should ever go into the ice or any cold that doesn't want to,
Yeah.
like peer pressured or come on, come on. What I point out to people is that it's called intentional cold exposure or deliberate cold exposure. And
Mm.
that first word is the most important word. The rest is great, but the most important word is that you have to want to do this. Um,
Yeah.
and so I will never try to talk someone into it. People constantly are asking me, you have to talk to my brother, sister, neighbor, husband. I'm not talking to anybody other than someone that wants to ask me questions.
Yeah.
I'm confident if you come to me, I can get you in.
Yeah.
I have zero doubt, but I'm not going to, do that to someone that isn't quite sure.
Yeah.
My own partner
So
took,
even
oh, go
at
ahead.
home, what would be the risks, like someone that does like a cold exposure and then they come out? Because usually it's like after they come out is where like the danger can be or the risks can be. What would be that if they're like even at home? Is it still the
So we
shift in
have a
temperature?
plunger whose husband was doing cold plunges at home, and I don't know the temperature, but he got global transient amnesia. Now, if you've never heard of global transient amnesia, you're not going to know what you're looking at. And it happened to him. She called a person in my group. That person in my group said, "Don't ask me, ask Renate." So she did call me, and I was able to tell her, "Oh, this is actually a classic sign, classic case." Um, and it's probably not dangerous, but it's super scary because the person, if you have it happen, we've only had it happen once or twice at the beach. And then this person who had nothing to do with me, was not affiliated with me. Um, and that cold water shock, people will want to go in and put their face in. There is a time and place to put your face in, but it's not when you first get in the cold water. Um,
Mm.
because there's such a thing as cold water shock, and people drown. That's why you'll never hear me recommending jumping off of anything. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how many times you've cold plunged or anything like that. And granted, that's a fluke or that's a freak accident, but it's still something that happens.
Yeah.
So this man had that, and I was able to tell her, so she was able to tell the hospital, "Oh, this is, because what it is you start to feel a little almost drunk. It's not unpleasant,
Mm.
but you don't know what happened. Why are we here?
Oh,
What
wow.
I don't remember, and you will lose a chunk of time and you will never get it back. Now you know
Wow.
who you are, you know where you are. But if it's at the beach, it could be like, when did we come here and why are we here? Why am I wet, at the beach?
Wow.
This was at his house, and we don't know what causes it. There's absolutely nothing that is a predictor.
Yeah.
So the only reason to know that is just to know that it's something and to have him be seen. He had everything came back. I mean, he's normal and healthy, but that time frame is completely gone, which is just scary, right?
Yeah.
There's blood sugar issues that can come up if you're completely alone and you don't know about that. You could have a problem. If you're not alone, someone's going to help you. If you're alone and then maybe you're going to have granola bar in your bag or something.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking about diabetics either, Um, there's something called thunderclap headaches, and they come on just like that. And they've happened in my tank and at the beach. And those are super scary for the person. And they either have to get out of the water, or my training has taught me what to do for them. Now, for me to get them to do the thing that they need to do, which is to go underwater, because it's the how
Mm,
fast the blood is shunting. We can regulate that by going under, but they have to really trust me. So I have to
yeah.
be saying, do you trust me? Can you trust me right now? And let's do this, or I have to take them out. So they're little
Wow.
things. These aren't life or death. I mean, um, the only actual there's more than one, but the main risk, the only person I would say you can't come in the water is someone that has late stage heart disease. Um,
Mm,
but I've had a man that had open heart surgery here in my ice bath, and we have a plunger that's actually on the waiting list for a heart right now. And he believes that all of his plunging kept his heart healthy for much longer than it would have been. So,
wow.
but your veins and the heart, all of your veins and arteries, capillaries are vasoconstricting and dilating like crazy for a cold plunge. So your
Yeah.
cardiovascular system is getting a workout every time you cold plunge, right?
Yeah.
So it's a heart workout. So it's good for your heart.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
shouldn't be having a heart attack. I've never heard of anyone having a heart attack.
Yeah.
And there's always, the fluke or the, freak cases, the out of nowhere cases.
Yeah. So how do you talk like, when you have someone at your business, like, doing the cold plunge, like, how do you walk them through? Are you just, like, more encouraging them, or what does that look like?
So I have the talk that I give that's the like safety talk. Is that what
Mm.
you're talking about? Or are you talking about right at the side
Like,
of the
when
water?
they're getting into the ice and they're like, because I know you do the
So
breathing, the breath work with them, right?
So I do breath work first, and then we stand at the side of the tank. And I usually say, "Don't put your hands in," because everyone's like a child and they want to put their hands in. My ice bath is full of ice and chunks of ice, not ice
Yeah.
cubes, but it comes up in a sheet, and I have to use a mace bell to break it. So these are large pieces of ice, and you naturally, well, your fingers are the furthest from your heart,
Mhm.
smallest capillaries, and the most nerve endings, and it can hurt on your hands. Like if you ever put your hand in a cold cooler when you're camping and you want
Mhm.
that water out, you're like, but it hurts. That's the most pain you're going to get is in your hands. It shouldn't hurt anywhere
Mm.
else. Maybe just have discomfort. And no one, I don't even make everyone put their hands in the water during the ice bath. They can keep their hands out.
Mm.
Um, and so I have to say, please don't put your hand in there. And some people, so there's an emotional component to ice baths, especially ice baths here or small groups at the beach. Big groups doesn't seem to happen. I think that's a social constraint issue. But either knowing you're going to do it or just looking at the ice, people start to cry. About 45% of people just
Mm.
start to cry. And it's like an emotional release, like, I'm going to do this hard thing. And you can't hang on to something, whatever you're holding on to, it's hard to hold on to it and do that. So one of them's got
Yeah.
to give and they start to cry. Or as soon as they get in, they start to cry. And I just let them know the water can take it and you can leave it there. You know, it can take it. And the sea, amazing. I'm like, look how big the sea is. It can totally take your problems and you can leave them here, at least for today. Right. So I get pretty close to them. I ask them to look in my eyes. I go through a little bit of a scan. You can't have them standing there too long, right? Because they're talking themselves out of things. So I try to
Yeah.
get them to not think. We do three specific breaths right there at the water. And then I go through what's interesting about human nature is if you tell people what to do, they do it. If you invite them, would you like to get in
Mhm.
now? They might say no. So I
Like,
don't
giving
invite
them
them.
the option. Yeah.
I don't give them any options. They've given me money, right? They've come here and they've done all this work. So after I've done the breath, I tell them, okay, now when I ask you to get into the tank, and I'm looking at them, right? We're really close to each other. I want you to do so calmly and carefully. I want you to sit down without hesitation. Let the water rush over your body, over your shoulders, up to your neck. And I want you to breathe. All you have to do is breathe. They say, okay. And I say, step into the tank. And they just step into the tank. They literally just step into the tank. There's been a handful of people that kind of, stop and start, but they literally just step into. It's a weird kind of. It's a testament to the human spirit that we trust people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to me day after day that strangers come and trust me.
Yeah.
I mean, I take it
Wow.
very seriously. I mean, I take it very seriously. And people
Yeah.
that come here before doing an ice bath, a cold plunge anywhere else, that's a whole level of bravery because I didn't start here. You know,
Yeah.
I started at 50 degrees and they're starting at 33 degrees. Um, yeah, I'm always
That's
like, you're badass. Yeah, that's bad. Um, and people are just people that are hurting, right? They want to be out
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. But I see the look here more than the beach of I don't need my car. I can just run home. I'm not a runner. I feel like I
You're
could
like,
run.
"No." Yeah.
Yeah. So,
You're like, "No, go back to your car."
exactly. And then they'll be like at the stop sign. I'll get weird texts like, is it weird that I feel like I want to come back and get in again? Nope, it's normal. Or a couple of days
Oh my
later, I have a feeling like I didn't even like it because most people don't like it.
yeah.
Most people, it takes 3 to 5 before they really like it. But
Yeah.
everyone feels good after, when they get out, they feel good. I have
Yeah.
this weird feeling like I want to do it again and I hated it or something.
So is there risks for staying in there too long? Because I know you said, like, 2 to 3 minutes is kind of ideal.
So 2 to 3 minutes is all you need for the health benefits. Everyone has their own. It's a time when, so most of us we don't know how to listen to our body, right?
Mm.
Like we keep our lives so temperature controlled. Women, especially, I don't know about men, but we don't even go to the restroom we need to, right? We like get busy and then we're like, wait until we have a cram. And they're like, oh my gosh, I guess I should go to the bathroom. So I try to teach people to listen to their body. So you need to get out when your body tells you to get out. That's so
Mhm.
confusing. So if you start to shiver, it's time to get out. Now, if it's in that first minute, that's not true. That's just like your brain working with you.
Yeah.
But most people with a regular pad with a practice, and at our beach, we have people that are from 5 up to 20 minutes. Now they have a regular practice. They listen to their
Yeah.
body. I trust them to do their own thing. New people at the beach, I say 4 to 5 minutes. I'm going to ask you to get out. Now I'm going to be watching you. I'm going to watch. If you're shivering, I'm going to ask you to get out. If if I think you should get out, I'm just going to ask you to get out. I'm bossy in that way just because I've seen enough people. And I don't, there's something called after drop, which is not dangerous, but it's also kind of scary and it's unpleasant. And if you get after drop on probably everyone gets it eventually. Because you get to talking in the water when there's a community and then you don't want to get out. It feels good. Well, the
Yeah.
better it starts to get, the more dangerous it is. Because when you get hypothermic, you start to get elated. If you
Mm.
start to giggle and go super, I don't feel anything, then I'm like, you have to get out now.
Yeah.
We have friends that in the first month, so I was not a guide yet, they came to join us and they didn't want to get out. And they heard that your metabolism is boosted like 300 times. And I said, I read that too. And they're like, we want to stay in. I got out, changed. I was still dressed. They stayed in 40 minutes.
Whoa.
I let them, not that I have control over anyone, but I stood
Yeah.
there waiting and I was worried. When they got out, the husband couldn't drive, the wife could barely drive. They were laughing in between, having fits of shaking. It was so
Oh
scary.
my.
They were definitely pre hypothermic. So I learned something that day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But mostly I say listen to your body, or if you're new and you don't know how, then you just need, because every time's different. Did you sleep well last night? Did you have a few drinks? Are you going to fight with your
Mm.
partner that you came to the beach with and you've been glaring at them this whole morning? There's so many factors that go into it. So it's a beautiful opportunity because we're in nature, right? You're getting trace minerals from the water, you're getting sunrise. It's gorgeous there. You're with your friends. Just pay attention. If you get
Yeah.
this hesitation that says, I think I should get out, you should probably get out. But
Yeah.
new people, I tell them 4 to 5 minutes is the top. After that, you're going to start to learn. In an ice bath in the house, I have a client that stays 9 minutes.
Wow.
I don't stay 9 minutes. She can stay 9 minutes. Um, Not much longer. Would she want to? Maybe. I'm not. You have a liquid in your cells. So if you're in a
Yeah.
water cold enough to freeze ice, probably not a good idea to stay in there very long. In
Yeah.
the sound, people stay 25, 30 minutes at that temperature. It's probably not dangerous. I would be wrecked that long.
Yeah.
My sweet spot is 9 to 12 minutes. In the summer, it gets a little longer. You want to kind of get all your money's worth when you drive there and you're, getting
Yeah.
sandy and dirty and wet. Yeah. So um, nobody stays to a level that's dangerous.
Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it is what's going to be, per each person is,
It's always better to get
recognizing.
out. There's a point of no return. There's a diminished point of diminishing returns, right?
Mm,
Longer is not better with cold plunging.
yeah.
It's absolutely not better. So, and after, if you stay the right amount of time, you're going to have good, clean energy all day.
Yeah.
If you stay too long, you need a couch day because that
Yeah.
thermogenesis that kicks on is what is helping you with this great mood. If it's too much, you've got your core started to get cold. Now the thermogenesis is working like you turned up the furnace and it's trying so hard and it's struggling because you got too cold. Now you need a blanket on the couch and a TV show and you're going to be shivering all day and people think taking a hot shower is going to work. It's not going to work. A hot shower is
Mm,
just heating the skin up. It's not doing
yeah.
anything to what you've done with the mingling of the cold blood,
Yeah.
in your body. And so even going home and taking a hot shower, it's not the same as being immersed, the same as being
Yeah.
like I contrast therapy, which is sauna, ice bath, sauna, ice bath, always end on
Mm,
cold. My first time in the sauna, I'm sweating 10 to 15 minutes in. After an ice bath of 3 minutes, I don't sweat again. I mean, I'm in that
wow.
sauna. I stay in that sauna, and I've only been 3 minutes in the cold. I get back in the sauna, and at my home sauna, 147, I don't get back to sweating. I have to go to
Why
a
is that?
facility. I'm already that cold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So if I went to the beach and stayed 20 minutes in and got in a sauna, I don't even know if I'd get warm. Now I would put maybe a hotter sauna because I have infrared in the house. There's a facility I go to where they have almost 200 degrees saunas, I will get warmer when I do that.
Yeah.
But you would definitely being immersed in cold really does. It's fast. It works
Wow.
really fast. Yeah,
Wow, that's interesting. And so does the sauna do the same thing? Like, is it supposed to be like that fast of kind of heating
it's
you
not as
up or
fast.
even no? Okay.
No, it's not as fast. Just like the sunshine, you can go when you get out of an ice bath and you move your swimming suit, you will see
Mhm.
red skin and white skin, just
Oh,
like a
wow.
sunburn. And that
Yeah.
happens immediately, like immediately. Well, the sun takes even in the hottest day, it would take 10
Yeah.
minutes to do that. The
Yeah.
ice is like that. Your
Wow,
skin
that's so
receptors in your
fascinating.
skin for cold react immediately. You would die faster in a frozen water than in a blistering sun,
Wow.
which is a depressing
Wow.
thought, both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, how quick it can happen too with just cold water. But also, like, I mean, doing the few minutes, it's how beneficial it
Water,
is. I know.
water, I love water. Water is life, right? And also, water is involved in, like, I believe almost every natural disaster.
Yeah.
You know, water's powerful.
Yeah.
So
Very
we
powerful
always want to be
force.
mindful of that when we're in nature, especially. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Water I don't mess with."
Yeah.
I don't mess with it. It will, it could do all sorts of things without me doing
Yeah.
anything to it, it's like
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So I know we kind of touched on the benefits of cold water therapy. Can you dive more into that? Like why, say like an average person like me, like what would be the benefits of me cold plunging even for just 2, 3 minutes?
So for your average person, usually they come, they hear, so inflammation is gone. My example I give is if you ever go outside in the winter and your rings suddenly feel like they're going to fall off your fingers, that's inflammation's going down. That's what happens in the ice, but for your whole
Mm,
body. So that even includes inflammation in your head and your brain. So
wow.
that's one thing. Also, deep sleep is much better. Like you get such good sleep. My sleep is just, I've never slept this well. Of course, I used to
Yeah.
take a lot of medications and drink just to get sleep. Many years I had a cocktail that should have killed me and swallowed it with vodka. So I'm sober now, but or else I wouldn't
Yeah.
be telling you that.
Yeah.
It was pretty terrible, right? And the doctors, you go in and say, I'm a grieving widow, they give you almost, at least they used to give you what you wanted, basically. I
Yeah.
would just say, I heard about this thing called Xanax. Can I have some? I mean, literally, that's how it used to do, how it used to be.
Yeah.
Um, Sleep, um, any sorts of aches and pains, anything that ends in itis is inflammation. And so pretty much you don't get past 25 or 30 without having some sort of aches and pains. Most any pain can be relieved with the cold plunge. A lot of people that come have some kind of a pain that's a sometimes pain, and they can get relief once or twice a week. The sleep, the energy. Also, diabetics, it lowers blood sugar. If you're eating
Wow.
ketogenically, it gets you deeper into ketosis. The community aspect of it, there's friendships to be made. It's a thing to do that's free, and it gets you out. Meet new
Yeah.
people. Hormonal, your hormones balance. So a lot of new moms come after they have a baby because they're all over the place. It's amazing for women who are perimenopausal or menopausal. I was menopause. I was having hot flashes and night sweats. And within 2 weeks, I have not had another one. So those ended for me completely. Men, testosterone, there's studies that show that men with low testosterone can get their testosterone into the level of teenagers. Like it's
Wow.
crazy. Works on for testosterone. Yeah, it's crazy for that. The resilience part, the doing the hard thing. A lot of people want to come one time just to do a hard thing, like it's a bucket list, and then they find they felt so good they want to come back. And some don't, right? Some don't. Some it's just
Yeah.
I heard about this and I want to just give this a try. But a lot. Actually, I'm going to look. This is my very first notebook where I used to write down all the benefits. I haven't talked about them like had to in a long, long time like this, but it's important because your nervous system, you strengthen your nervous system. That's that part of that resilience
Mm,
part. But there's decreases across the board in depression and anxiety in people, and there's science studies that are showing this as well. But it supports your immune system, so I haven't been sick. Um,
wow.
you give it a little bit of stress, right? A little bit of stress over and over and over, it starts to learn how to keep you healthy. Not saying that no one has gotten sick because people
Yeah.
have, but hasn't been me. Lowers people's blood pressure, and it lowered my resting heart rate almost 20 point beats a minute. I always had a very high resting
Wow.
heart rate, and it's down almost without anything else. Um, Blood circulation, that goes back to what we talked about before with how it's working to move the blood in your system. So improves
Yeah.
adrenal function, helps fix thyroid issues. So my first teacher, she got rid of her Hashimoto's. And one of my mentors also, they just got rid of their Hashimoto's. One with just cold plunge,
Wow.
one with other things as well. So
Yeah.
thyroid issues, but that's hormonal, right? So
Mhm.
um, it's really like it's really men muscle recovery. Men use it. Athletes use it a lot for muscle recovery. But if you cold plunge before a workout, you'll have the best workout ever. Um,
Mm.
my second teacher, she is a biohacker, and she puts all the machines on her to test everything that she does.
Yeah.
And there's evidence that shows that everything works better right after a cold plunge. It's so good for
Wow.
like marathon runners because if you start out it takes longer to heat up. So you have
Yeah.
long before you start to,
Mm.
when you get exhausted.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, and again, increased mitochondrial function, which is the whole reason I started. And it
Yeah.
regulates autoimmune disorders. So, um, that's
So
just a
many
little,
benefits.
so many
Yeah.
benefits. Yeah,
So
yeah.
many.
But if you have pain, sometimes the cold will go to the pain, so it might hurt a little worse in the water. But
Mm.
people come here on crutches with plantar fasciitis or something wrong like that and leave without their crutches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a woman who broke her hip, and that once you're 60 or 65, break a hip, it's often a death sentence, you know,
Yeah.
not because of the hip, but because of what happens after.
Yeah.
And she is single and alone, lives alone. And so she had to go to a treatment facility for a month. And when she got out, the physical therapist said she could not have an ice bath. Her doctor said, it's an ice. It's ice. She can go. If she can get in the tank, she can go. And so she started coming and never had to go to physical therapy. She just got better.
Whoa.
Yeah, she healed. Yeah. So cold.
Gosh.
So cancer hates the cold. So
Yeah.
I offer ice baths free to cancer patients.
Mm.
Um, and one woman's tumors were going down, shrinking or not growing, which is just as well for her.
Yeah.
She has a lot of them. Cancer, yeah, does not like the cold. So they're just now doing more and more studies, because before, studies were almost always on showers, which are
Mm.
ineffective because the shower is hitting you wherever you turn. It's
Yeah.
literally, the droplets are so small that they're actually warming up as they go down your body. So no matter what the temperature of the water is, it's not, and you're
Yeah.
not immersed, right? There's something about
Mhm.
the conductivity of water when you're fully immersed.
Yeah.
So they're starting now to do a lot more research, which is exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just, people's personal testimonies, they can't, there's no lying in that when when they personally experience it, but having these, backed up
Yes.
studies is going to
Yes.
be so beneficial for more people, kind of believing that this stuff actually is working for so many various areas. And even when I started doing it, in the beginning of like my grief, it was like people thought I was insane for doing it. And I'm like, you have no idea. Like, I didn't have any studies. I was barely new to it. And but I'm like, I know how I feel after, and I know how
Right.
my grief feels after. And, I didn't feel like I was like sinking in my grief and everything. And then yeah, since we haven't been at an apartment with a pool, I even had my youngest is now 2, a little over 2 now, but I had postpartum depression and anxiety, like
Mhm.
severe. And so I remembered, cold water stuff. I would just do face dips, like a bunch of
Yeah.
ice and water, just do that just for, it wasn't even that long, pretty much as much as I can hold my breath. But that really got me to snap out of, these moments, or like kind of perk me up. That's what I thought. But, talking with you now, I'm like, oh, well, it probably helped balance my hormones too.
Well, yeah. So you activated your mammalian dive reflex, which is, all mammals have it, and you can take it a step further. Do your face first, then your hands, then your feet, in that
Mm,
order. Anywhere that we don't grow hair, which is like no one, because you've seen men that are, so it's
yeah.
this globulous skin that, so you right here under your eyes, this one spot on your hand, and then on your foot. Those are like globulous skin. Those
Yeah.
areas. So if you do all three of them, it's obviously you're not immersed, but those three in that order. But when you get your face in the water, it automatically, it's to protect mammals from drowning. So instead of
Mm,
panicking, imagine the zebra who's bent over the lake getting a drink of water
yeah.
and falls in. Nature has given us this dive reflex that slows his respiration, slows his heart rate, so he can try to get out. Now, if he doesn't get out, he will eventually panic. But initially, you've seen babies where they throw them in the pool, the baby
Mhm,
flips
and
over
they
and
just
doesn't
boom, they
panic,
flip, yeah.
doesn't panic. So we learn to panic. We learn to be
That's
afraid,
true.
right? So when you do this, your respiration slows and your
Mm,
heart rate slows. And it's brief, but they've done this to us in TV and movies, always saying, but they always said it to women, if you notice, and they would say, go in the bathroom and put cold water on your face,
yeah,
which they made it sound like it's just you're hysterical. I wish they had let us know that's actual science, because it is.
Yeah.
Because worst case scenario, you can go in a restaurant and literally throw cold water on your face and it will help you. If your heart is racing because you just got bad news, which is what happens in restaurants, you can calm down. And
What a
if you're at
simple
home and
way.
you're at home with a new baby and you're having bad postpartum, you can leave that Tupperware bowl out full time every morning. You can throw the ice in it, add water, walk away anytime you need to.
Yeah.
8, 10
Yeah.
seconds over and over again. No one has to know. It doesn't cost you anything. And you're
Yeah.
activating something that's God given to help us, to help
Yeah.
us. And you're teaching yourself that you have options. And most people feel like they don't have options when when you're in grief or you're in anxiety or you're in depression, and you feel like you don't have options. And
Yeah.
then the people that try to help you tell you things that aren't helpful. Go outside and take a walk. And you think, if I
Yeah.
could get up and dress and go outside, I probably wouldn't be depressed. Right.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like I'm gonna be
or,
depressed walking in the sunshine being like, "Everything sucks."
yeah, I mean, I would not think how to get dressed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If I left the Tupperware bowl out, I like to think I could at least manage
Yeah.
to put my
It
face
seems
in.
so simple. It's not like it takes a lot of thinking or physical activity. It's like, nope, it's
It's
there,
right
and
there.
then
Yeah,
it's so much less energy to do that, and
right,
yeah, yeah.
right. Baby
Yeah, it is so
steps.
simple. I mean, I've even done that when I've been flustered, like, I'll just go to the sink and just splash water, like, on my face, and I'm like and then I'll
Yeah,
walk outside, and then it's like, the wind blows it, and it
mhm.
cools it down, and then I'm like, "Oh," it's just kinda like a reset, and,
Yeah, absolutely.
my oldest, she'll do that when she's flustered, and when I was doing it so often, doing the cold water stuff, I would just tell her, like, "I'm just feeling really flustered," or, "I'm really stressed," so, like,
Right.
it's helping, like, calm me down, and then so she would when she would be flustered, she's like, "Oh, mom, can I have a cup of ice or a bowl of ice water?" And I'm like, "Why?" She's like,
Sure.
"I'm just feeling flustered." And I'm like, "Oh, at least you're,
Oh,
finding ways to decompress and kinda cope, something
right.
to
I
to
love it
really."
because I wish I had known as a teenager.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
my next
Just
goal is to get into some schools and talk to teenage girls, because as a
Mhm.
teenage girl, I could have saved myself some heartache if I had
Yeah,
something to do that didn't include talking to my mother, you know?
yeah. And even like you mentioned is like, in movies, it's showed as like we're supposed to be hysterical and, "Oh, splash water in
Yeah,
your face," and it's like, no,
almost like
really,
a
like
slap, right? Yeah.
yeah. It's just like more of like that shock, like, "Oh, get over it," kinda thing
Yes,
versus like,
exactly.
no,
Does
submerge
it
your
help
face
you?
in it because it's gonna be doing that, and like walking through. So, yeah,
Yeah,
there's such depth to the benefits of that.
yeah. And you
Um,
said a reset, and it is. Your whole body, it's like a whole body reset. That's what I tell people. It's like, especially your first time, it's like turning off your computer and then turning
yeah,
it back on. You may not even remember it, but it's like things go quiet. It gets very still. It's the only time my brain stops.
yeah,
Every system in your body goes to work. Because if all of your cardiovascular system is working, that's affecting your digestive system and your
mm,
nervous system and your immune system. And even the blood is shunted from your brain. So every single thing is happening. All of this is happening in 2 minutes. It's pretty
yeah,
incredible. All really to save your life.
yeah,
Because your warmest blood is being shunted to your core in
yeah,
case, like I said, you fell off an Alaskan cruise, um, because you're going to save your organs. And so all these things are happening immediately. And it's really hard to not really gain a new respect and love for your body.
yeah,
A whole other thing that I don't talk about as often as I used to is just this body love, loving your own body. Women who've never worn a bikini say, I'm wearing a bikini because it's easier to get on and off. And because I no longer care
yeah,
someone else thinks of my body, because this body's the one taking me out in that water and bringing me in. And I'm just now appreciating that it gave me those babies, and it did. And then they can list
yeah,
all these things and they never noticed before until they asked it to take it in the water, take them in the water, and they realized that it did. And they're like, I
mm,
can't. One of my best messages I received was only about 8 months in, and a woman wrote me this beautiful letter, and it said, I'm finding myself being kinder to myself.
Mm.
And she was very long about why and all
Yeah.
of that. She said, it's because of the water. It's because of the cold. It's because I'm getting in touch because there's nowhere else to be for those. It's only a
Yeah.
couple of minutes, but really it's all we need.
Yeah. And it's
We
really,
give
like,
our
fully present, like, I
Mhm.
mean, at least when I reflect back on the times I've gone in the pool, it was like, I couldn't think about grief, I couldn't think about what time it was, like, nothing existed outside of, like, my body is submerged in
Yeah.
this very cold water, and I'm doing those deep breaths, and it was like that's all I could focus on was those deep breaths, and it
Yeah.
really forces you to be focused just on that. Because it can be hard. I mean, a lot of people say like, "Oh, take deep breaths when you're stressed." It's like, but then your mind's running on everything else because
Mhm.
you're realizing where you're at, your physical movement, where your feet are placed, and when you're submerged in that, nothing else matters
Nope.
other than your breath, like you and your breath, and it's
Yeah.
so beautiful,
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Definitely. And I
Yeah.
love that people will use it as a tool to heal of all the things, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I might say the addicts are my favorite only because I took them on. I was at a retreat, a bunch of drug addicts, NA, and
Yeah.
they were like, "Why didn't anyone ever tell us about this before?" That dopamine hit, you know.
Yeah.
And it's going in tanks are going into treatment centers, and they're saying they're
Wow.
sensing that you give up something and you have something to replace it with, right? So I have
Yeah.
people that have given up sugar and given up alcohol, and then no one has given up drugs with me, but they've taken up co-plunging after the fact and said this would have made giving up drugs easier because you have
Yeah.
something else that's giving you that dopamine, right?
Yeah.
You can transfer because we all know you give up something, you usually pick up something else.
Yeah. And it's like at least it's in a healthy manner.
Exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then learning to deal with your breath, right? Like you're forced to deal with it in the cold, but then you
Yeah.
start to realize we've been breathing since we were born
Mhm.
and we've not thought much about it. And it's
Yeah.
never stopped. It's always there for us, but we can manipulate it. We can actually breathe with intention and we can
Yeah.
bring ourselves down when we're up. We can bring ourselves up when we're down. We can take ourselves, heck, I now teach a program that takes people into psychedelic experiences all with their breath. Like we can actually use our breath now. I didn't know that. And I think I'm just like you when you said people tell you to breathe and you're like, people all my life told
Mhm.
me, breathe, just take a breath, take a deep
Mhm.
breath. And I remember feeling like, why doesn't someone tell me how? Like this,
Yeah.
I have magnets and, keychains, and people would give me those things because they were like, you need to calm down. No one ever told me how.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a breath worker, if someone's struggling, I literally can't help myself. I get like, hey, 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 with me. And then I count and I start breathing how I want them to breathe. And I'm literally have them mimic what I'm doing, and I can
Yeah.
get them to breathe with me. And I think, why didn't anyone ever do that with me? Because no one knew, right?
Yeah.
Or I didn't know the right people, I guess. But I
Yeah.
believe if we had time instead of timeout corners, I believe if we had breathing corners, our children
Yeah.
would be a lot
That's what
better
I'm
for.
gonna I'm gonna have to start doing that. My
Yes,
son, he's my middle, so I'm like, poor kid. My daughter, I've taught like where I would get right in front of her to tell her like, all right, we're
right.
taking a deep breath, or like, do you want to do some movement? Like let's do some jumping jacks, something to like simmer us back down. And my son, he's such a fireball. Like he's more of like an explosive, and then he'll calm down. And so
Yeah.
it's like I'm trying to get him before he explodes,
Right.
or even if he does explode, it's like how to get him to kind of recenter. And I think he would really benefit is like doing that, is getting right in his face and being like, just start breathing. Cause then he will
Yeah.
start, he knows that that's what we do. But yeah, we have like kind of a corner. But I have like little things up of like a deep breath, things like that to kind of help recenter when we're flustered.
How old is
Um,
he?
he's 5.
Well, yeah, and you can make it so fun with a 5-year-old because you're like, you're blowing
Yeah.
out a candle.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
make it
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
we have, like, a little book where it's like you breathe in like you're smelling a flower, and then you breathe out like you're blowing up a balloon or something like that. So it has,
Yeah.
like, different ways of
Yeah.
doing it and stuff, and so there's times where we'll practice, like, role playing. I'm like, "Oh, you're so mad because," and I'll make up some story, "Oh, because the baby took your toy and you're mad, like, what are you gonna do?" Because then it's like, practicing that
Right.
beforehand, it's, like,
Right.
more likely when he's actually flustered, it's like, "Oh, this is what we do," kinda go back to the training of it, but, yeah, I think
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to start practicing that, is, like, just getting right up in his face.
Yeah.
He's one
It
that
makes
it's like everything
people,
shuts down.
one, it makes people hear you, but also they feel seen, even if they
Yeah,
hate it. Like, not everyone likes it, but they
yeah,
feel seen and laugh afterwards. You know what they're going to remember? They feel seen
yeah,
that you took including your children, right? That
yeah,
you took the time to, yeah, that was so annoying, mom. I hate it when you did that. Secretly in my heart, I love that you gave me that
yeah.
time and that
Well,
attention.
it's like they'll feel safe, like that safety as
Exactly.
well. It's like, "No, I'm
Yeah.
here with you while you're having this chaos, inside
Yeah.
and everything." Oh.
Well, don't be surprised then if you have a meltdown, your son will get in your face and help
Oh,
you
I
out.
know. They will tell me, like, when I've been flustered, they have definitely I mean, I laugh about it now, but of course, in the moment, I'm like, "Oh my gosh." They'll tell me, "Mom, you're getting frustrated. You should take a breath." And then, of course, in my head, not having the training from being little, it's like I'm, retraining as an adult that I'm like,
Right.
That's not gonna work," or, I don't tell them that, but in my head, I'm thinking, "Oh, gotta take a deep
Yeah.
breath."
Take a breath. Yeah. Have time for that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I'm glad you made that point though about, like, the breaths. I'm very fascinated on how you do the different breathing and getting them into, like, kind of like a trance state. Um, because, I mean, we could even when we get stressed, like, our breath is shortened, and we take
Mhm.
those
And we
very
breathe
long
out
breaths.
here. You
Yeah,
only
like,
breathe
more
out
like
here.
in your chest instead of in your belly, and,
Yeah.
I'll even recognize that if I don't get sleep. I'm like, "Ugh," like, my breathing just feels more stressful, even though I'm not stressed, but I'm like, "Oh, my lack of sleep." I
Mhm.
can feel, like, the cortisol, like, I'll tell friends that, like, "I feel the cortisol, like, running through me today, it's just higher today," but it's like my breath will be a lot more, will be shortened, and then when I could recognize it in myself when I feel, like, really good, it's like I do have those very deep belly breaths, and you just feel good, and,
The
um,
ideal breath would be 5.5 seconds
like, breathing in for 5.5 seconds,
and
or breathe
out. And
and
that
out.
would be the air goes into your belly first, then your chest, and then your side body, which takes practice actually.
Oh,
So, but I teach people to just do 4 because it's easier. And I also teach to use so if you practice all day long, whenever it comes into your mind, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, in and out. Just so now you're touching, you're
mm,
counting, you're activating more senses, and you
yeah,
practice when you're doing dishes. You don't have to touch, but if you can touch, um, when you're doing dishes, when you're driving, if not, every hour on the hour, whatever tricks, however often you can to try to count 4. A balanced breath, it just means the same in as the same out, same in as out. That's a balanced breath.
yeah,
And if you can get yourself to 4, it will slowly start to make your life literally better. It
wow.
regulates your nervous system. 5.5 is ideal. That's in the book Breath, um, which is not life-changing book. Like, you'll change everything about yourself if you read that and be like partially horrified, partially shamed, and then really, really motivated to breathe right.
Oh
Um,
my.
James Nestor, Breath. But if you just try practicing when you begin to breathe, that your chest doesn't move,
Oh,
not until the
is it because
end.
it's all in, like, the
It's
belly? Like,
coming
so your chest
down.
shouldn't.
So when you're
Ah.
breathing in, your belly should rise first. Now we've been holding our bellies in our whole lives, so it's really hard for women. My teacher says we're going to make pot bellies cool again, and we're like, they were never cool. They were never cool. But breathing in through your nose, because you don't make nitric oxide if you breathe through your mouth, only through your nose. And
Mm.
your nose filters the air. We all know there's crap in our air. So those 2 things alone. And there's something that's maybe science that says we're in a better mood if we breathe through our nose, but I'm not positive about that one. So don't quote me. But if you breathe in through your nose, only at the end, so belly and then chest and then side body, even as you practice. I recommend laying down for that one and using either your hands or like a band that you can
Mm.
put. Because most people, when I first say to do it, they're like, my side body's not moving, but your
Do they
diaphragm
not
is.
recognize it with their own hands? So, like, having something
No,
else move?
no, because this
Mm.
is what they're breathing.
Oh.
It's all up here.
Mm.
When you lay down and you start breathing like that, you're gonna feel that like I'm oxygenating my fingers. Oh my gosh, how do I live all day without oxygenating my fingers?
Yeah.
Because really, do it to 6. Heck, move to 8. Can't. It's hard to do 8 and do dishes and talk and do other things, but
Yeah.
um, really lengthening your breaths and just do whatever you do in, do the same out. Unless you're trying to go to bed, then double the out, double the exhale. Teach your body to do what you want and play with it. I
Yeah.
have lots of exercises I'm happy to send you, but just the
Yeah.
basics, just the basics is amazing what we can do with our the one I mentioned earlier is your prefrontal cortex will shut down. And so your subconscious mind comes out to play, which really isn't playing.
Mm.
I feel after doing over 100 of these that the message people get is from their soul, like what your soul
Mm.
wants you to know. Yeah. Because we live in the programs that were set up,
Yeah.
before we were 5,
Yeah.
and 95% of our everything comes from that. And so when that shuts down, and it's the DMT is released very similarly to um, ayahuasca, but this is all natural from your own body and brain.
Yeah.
So you're very aware. You're very aware the whole time. Um, but what comes out, I don't know what's going to come out. You don't know what's going to come out, but there's a message, and
Yeah.
it's usually just what you need, you know?
Wow.
It's pretty powerful. But we had in the 60s, there were psychiatrists that were doing things with psychedelics, and the
Yeah.
government said no more, we'd stop. So they went all around the world to different cultures and said, we know that you use different states of consciousness in lots of your rituals. Everyone but the Western, us, right? They use other states of consciousness in rituals, and it's a valued experience. And
Yeah.
so they developed this type of breath work without using drugs.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we have a
Wow.
lot of
Have you done
power
it
that
yourself?
what's that?
Like, have you done it yourself or you've just guided people in it?
No, I
Yeah.
had to. Yeah, in my training.
Oh
I
my
didn't know I was
goodness.
doing it the day I was doing it. And she's like, okay, now you're going to do yours. And I was like, my whole body said no. I said, oh, no, no, I'm not ready. And she goes, what are you talking about? You're not ready. You're in training and I'm your teacher, basically, is what she said. Now go. And I was just like, I don't think it's a good day. I don't think I'm ready. And she was like, today's the day. And
Yeah.
it was the most transformational healing experience I've ever had in this, field of somatic. I felt like I
Yeah.
left the ground. I'm not sure. I don't know, but no one was here to witness. But I feel like I left the ground, and yeah, it was extremely powerful. I Now I do them for myself, but
Like, by
it
yourself, you just know, like, the breathing. Oh, that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It gets confusing because the music is loud, and it includes a somatic scream where you hold a pillow over your own head and you scream. And
Wow.
sometimes I'll get confused, like, where's my song? I know what song it is. And then I'll like just scream too soon, like,
Mm.
because you're out of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a guide to cue me, to
Yeah.
tell you the next song is the cue, So I get a little flustered, but I'm out of it and I'm fine. Um,
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna have to try that one of these days. I mean, I would get guided though. I wouldn't do it by myself.
Yeah.
That would be great. Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah. Ugh. Is there a certain name for it, or is it just like
So I named it ice cream. My teacher called it
okay.
scream work.
Oh, okay.
Um, my program's called ice cream. It's mine is breath work with somatic scream followed by ice bath to just kind of
Mm,
really, it's a cherry on top, right? To regulate your
wow.
nervous system. Yeah. But I do it I do it now. I do it virtually as well. So
Yeah,
there's no ice bath with that one.
yeah,
Obviously. Because so many people were asking me about it. I said, I'm going to see if I can figure out, because I didn't do an ice bath with mine, right? My
yeah.
teacher doesn't give ice baths with hers. So I started doing it on Zoom, and yeah, same experience. I mean, I can't touch
Wow,
you if you're not here, but I haven't had anyone complain about that.
wow,
So
that's
just
awesome.
as powerful. And mine, like I said, mine was that way. So um, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Oh, yours was through like a Zoom as well?
Yeah. Yeah. My
Oh,
teacher's in
wow.
Colorado.
Oh,
Yeah.
how
Yeah. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't
Wow.
record it. So I'm like, I want to see. She's like, I didn't record it.
Like, dang it.
I go, I feel like
Yeah.
I left the ground. I feel like I left the ground. And then my
Yeah.
journal entry after is like bizarre to read. Like, wow. Wow,
Goodness.
wow, wow. Because it's like a dream. When you wake up from a dream and you're like, I'm not going to
Mhm.
forget this dream. And then you go to the bathroom and you're like, huh, I
Yeah.
forgot the dream. Yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
that state.
It's like sand, like, slipping through your fingers, you're, like, trying to grasp it, but it's like, "Nope, it's going."
I had messages from one of my husband and they were really strong. Now, I don't believe that he came. Like,
Mhm.
my personal opinion is hopefully I don't think he's waiting for to come send me a message, right? Like that does not sound like heaven to me.
Yeah,
Waiting and watching for an opportunity to pop in. It just doesn't. So, but again, it's my subconscious that gave me the message, right?
mhm,
That's the science of it. And so it's something I've known that
yeah.
I never let myself
Hmm,
know, you know? So, and that was very heartbreaking. At the same time, gave me a lot of peace.
yeah,
Like I needed to know that. And then at the same time, I guess I've always known that, but I never
yeah,
let it out. I never let it pass that barrier of the
yeah.
subconscious. Yeah.
It's like you
So,
needed just to hear it.
yeah. So I got the message loud and clear, and it was so settling. Yeah.
Gosh, I would be nervous, I'd be like, I don't know, hearing something awful or something. I think I'd just
I
be
don't think
nervous.
awful can come. I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
So I always say, you could be crying, you could be laughing, who knows? But I hadn't
yeah.
seen anyone laugh. And a woman came to me that had a very traumatic. Her brother had had traumatic experience,
Mhm.
and I think that she is really worried. I didn't know this at the time, but she was laughing through her experience, and I
Oh,
was like, "What is happening?" I don't say that at the time, but afterwards, she said, "I saw my son grow up." She said, "It was like I
oh.
was doing dishes and he kept walking past the window, getting older and older
Oh,
and older."
how
And
strange.
so she saw her son grow up without having the traumatic experience that her little brother
Oh,
had. And so that was her worry.
mm,
That's her big monster fear, right? That her son would have
yeah.
a bad experience. And she said, I watched him grow up and she was just
Mm,
so happy. And I was like, that's not even because I do say, what's your intention? We do talk about
yeah,
intention. You can set your intention, but it doesn't mean that's what your soul needs you to know, right?
yeah.
Um, so I did meet a woman who'd had two husbands die like I had. And
Wow.
we were in a setting where I shouldn't have probably done this, but we were in a retreat somewhere else. And I said, do you want to go in the bedroom and do this thing? She's like, I do. I was like, all right. So we did. And she had really nice resolution because she had some conflict in her own mind, headspace
Yeah.
about grieving one and not the other. And,
Mm,
just
yeah.
some conflict. And it came, and she had abandonment issues. And it really played out nicely that she basically the same thing. Her soul came and told her,
Mm,
you know, gave birth, but you're on the right path and you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
That's
it's
so
just
beautiful.
really beautiful to witness. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know this is one of the things I talk about in the journaling program is we know so much. We have our universal consciousness that's with us from everyone that came before, whatever you believe.
Yeah.
It's there, right? We wouldn't all be afraid of snakes if it wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
we all have our own lessons, our own life lessons that
Yeah.
we've learned the hard way or the easy way, mostly the hard way. And those two things together come to with all this wisdom. But we're
Mhm.
so busy, we make ourselves so busy day to day on that hamster wheel that we don't actually listen to that wisdom. Like we're
Yeah.
disconnected from our own our heart, really. We're disconnected.
Yeah.
Cold plunging makes you connect, journaling makes you connect. I'm watching younger girls now that I'm older. There's a red flag going towards it. I'm like, you're disconnected. That
Yeah.
flag is on fire. That's a
Yeah.
hazard. Don't go that way. When you see a red flag, you need to go the other way. And they're like, I just want
Yeah.
to see it. I'm like, you shouldn't want to see it. The reason it's a red flag is because you already know it's bad. It's because
Mhm.
whatever experiences you've had, you already know that's bad. Why would you? And so I think that we're just so out of touch with our own messages, our own innate knowing.
Yeah.
After my husband died, I'd had bad relationships, a divorce. He came along and was a good man.
Yeah.
After he died, I went backwards.
Mm.
I was like, I forgot all the lessons that got me to get to the good man. I
Yeah.
went regressed back to aggressive and abusive, and like it took me years to undo the damage that I forgot because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
it's like a
much
lot of us
easier.
will
Yeah.
know the answers, but it's like you said, we're so busy
Mhm.
with so much outside noise that we don't give ourselves the
Yeah.
chance to be still and then just to listen. And it's not like it's gonna be like this big loud voice on a
No.
speakerphone or something being like,
Yeah.
telling you the answer. But it's like I feel like in our gut, we just,
It's an
we
inner
just
gut. Yeah.
listen.
It's an
And it
inner
feels good. It's not like it's gonna be, oh, this doesn't, I don't know. It's like no, there's always like just a 100%, like it just feels good and that's the answer or whatever the case is. It's not like there's no questioning that comes with it. And I think
it's a
we will
nudge,
get in,
right? It's a
yeah,
nudge.
we'll get in our own head to be like, oh, is it? And then then we end up disconnecting and then,
I could be wrong.
yeah. And we try to
But
like
your gut is
justify that with
right.
like
Yeah.
outside stuff, like stuff that's in this world of like, oh, this is why it's right and why I think it's right. And then we'll try to piece
Mhm.
it with that. It's like, no,
Yeah.
sometimes we just have
What is
to listen.
what is his name? The gene code. What is his name? He says easy is right.
Oh, oh, I
You
don't know. I've
follow
heard
that.
of that though.
Easy is right. So when you're looking at
I
two
like that.
decisions and one feels doesn't mean easy like so simple, like, the easy way, like a cheater, like
Yeah,
like that, but easy is right. When it feels like this is the way and it's an easy road, even if it's a hard road, easy is right. And that's the one that last year he has a free program called 7 Days of Grace. And I always recommend it because it's 7 days and
yeah,
free and it's easy. It's not easy at all. It's going to challenge you to do some journaling and a little meditation each day. One day, I think, is like 30 minutes, but it's easy to get through anything for 7 days, right? You can do anything for seven
yeah,
days. And it's a really powerful program. But he says easy is right. And you're like, it hits so right.
yeah,
He also has you taking a pause every 3 hours. Take a pause and take 3 breaths and know that someone else around the world is doing the same thing with you.
oh my goodness, that's powerful.
Yeah. Sacred
Wow.
pause. And so when I was taking this class, I'd be like, oh, I'm talking to someone. My alarm just went off. Can I just take a second?
Mm,
I'm going to do these 3 breaths. No one said no.
yeah.
And they usually breathe with me.
Oh,
And then we'd have like this, Oh my gosh, I felt so good, right? Because
Yeah, but
nobody breathes.
it brings you back to that center and reset, and
Exactly.
then it's like, "Oh, now I can go be with present with other people because I just was present with myself," and,
And that's
oh,
what it
that's
all is about, right?
yeah,
All of it is about that, coming to the present moment. And I think that I didn't know that before I found the cold.
yeah,
I was chasing, I was spinning plates everywhere, asking for, and I was asking for help by acting out or, you know, having problems, more problem. Let's have another problem. Oh, if there's a problem, great. I'll take it. Um, and then my life got, better. You get older, you just can't have the time for some of that drama. But I still struggled, and it was like
mm,
I was my own worst enemy. And it took getting quiet and taking the time to put things down and drive to the beach
yeah,
and take the 10 minutes. It's really a short amount of time.
yeah,
So I'm hoping that my taps together is next week. And I'm hoping that I can get it into bigger, more people with taps just because they have a lot of people that need
yeah,
need
absolutely,
this.
yeah. So was one of your husbands or was both of your husbands that passed away in the
Both of
service?
them.
Both of them?
Both.
Okay, I thought so, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a funny story. I wrote a paper once in college, and my teacher corrected the paper for me because I I said it properly, but it's such a strange story. But my I was married to my high school sweetheart who joined the Force Recon Marines.
Hmm,
We divorced. We had a child, and we divorced. I married a few years later to a Special Forces soldier. He died 42 days after we were married.
oh my gosh.
Then 3 years later, the knock on the door happened again, and I opened the door. I didn't think we'd talk about this. And there's the casualty assistance officer.
Mm,
I know what that I know what that is.
yeah,
The first time I even knew, even though I didn't know, like my body reacted and I
mhm,
was like, I'm sorry. They said, can we come in? And I said, no, I'm cleaning my house. My husband's coming home in 2 days. And they're like, no, we're coming in. I said, no, you can't. I tried to not let them in. Anyway, so when this one came, I I just said no, no. And she said, I have to. She came not because of me, because of my daughter, right? Because
mm,
I was not his wife
yeah,
anymore. But she came because of my daughter. And so she was not home. She was at school. So she came in and whatever she did, you don't remember that. And
yeah,
I had a sunken living room. I just went and laid on the floor and wailed. And
mm,
different than the first time, because
yeah,
I said, this cannot be happening to me again.
yeah,
It doesn't matter that he was my ex husband. We remained close, and it was exactly the same in my body. In fact,
yeah,
in some ways, it was worse because I knew what was to come, if that makes sense.
yeah,
And then to find out that he drowned, I went into the most rage. And then and he was remarried. When we went to the viewing, his wife chose a different path than I did. She, I believe, was on medication, and she was
mm.
Jackie O, very
Oh my.
stoic, and she had a veil on, and her friends had her sitting somewhere. And I was over the casket, and I was chewing him out in front of all these people. And I was like, I cannot believe. I was just hissing at him, my
Yeah,
rage. Like, this is my only opportunity, right?
yeah,
Um, I didn't have him alone. Like my husband, I got to be alone with his body. This one, I don't know if I do or not. So how could you?
yeah,
Why did you? You knew what this did to me and your daughter last 3 years ago. How could you do this?
yeah,
Um, and why? And And then her friends, she told me her friends were saying, "Hey, there's a lady over there who's yelling at him." She's like, "Oh, it's okay. It's his ex-wife." Now you have to laugh because otherwise you just cry the rest of your life. But
Yeah.
um, yes, it just, and then after that, the two were linked like
Yeah.
forever. They were just always in my head. So I was 24 the first time, and then 28.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I guess it was 4 years. So from then on, I was a widow. So
Yeah.
more than
That's so
half my
young
life.
too.
Yeah. So it was really
Yeah.
my identity. Like, and they didn't have all these programs. I found out TAPS did start back then, but I didn't know that then. I
Yeah,
never.
especially with like, social media and things like that, it's so much easier nowadays to get in touch with stuff like that than
Yeah,
then.
it was only about
Um,
5 years ago that I found out about any programs.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so you were mentioning about writing a paper and your teacher corrected you.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, you put the wrong, like, first husband, second husband in the wrong order." Because
Oh,
I say both of my husbands died, then she would think that would means the first husband died first, the second husband no, my second husband died first. Like, she wanted to
yeah.
correct my paper for me. Like, I think I
Oh,
know the story.
I'm the one living it. I know my story.
I got it right the first time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so but to me, it was just both of my husbands drowned.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
kind of, that was a shield for me for a long time, or a weapon, depending on what I
yeah,
needed that day. What did I need that day,
yeah,
Um, but the shield and the weapon got really heavy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And through cold water, it seems like it's helped so much. And I mean, it's just such an inspiration, like the amount of wisdom that you have with cold water exposure and the amount of knowledge that you have just in that space and everything that we got to get from you today. My last question is, how would you tell other people that are in their grief journey or, just getting on it or wherever they're at on their journey, how would you tell them to journey on?
With the cold or just in general?
Either or, however you want to answer it.
I would encourage people to find other people because I didn't. I would, of course, suggest cold, but I mentioned earlier I would never encourage for someone that was not interested. Um, if they have any interest at all, then I would definitely point them in directions for cold. But really, the isolation that grief brings on is what we have to get past.
Mm.
Um, and not to count on your friends. It's a horrible thing to say, but don't count on them. It's going to be up to you, sadly, to maybe make new connections. And maybe it has to be a whole different group. Maybe not. I don't know. I just know my experience and the experience of a few people. But, and to not give up. There is hope and there is happiness in the future. And don't do it the way I did. I would tell them how I did it because it was the wrong way. And what I now know is that grief and pain and sorrow can live in the same room with joy and happiness and love. And I didn't believe that, but it's true. And so you can find all of those things while grieving, and there's no reason not to. And so, and they require help. They require getting some help, whether that's professional help or just surrounding yourself with people that understand where you're at and where you're coming from. That's it.
That's so great. That's so great. I'm going to end